Wouldn't it be fantastic if we could go out and sample, look for organisms that are similar to the ones that we've just started working with and where we have a potential application, and perhaps we could find, so to speak, relatives, related species that had other activities that could be even more relevant, now thinking about the aquaculture. My name is Lona Graham. I have been working with bacteria from the ocean and water for the past 25 years, and I think basically it's the most exciting thing that one can do. The ocean is the largest biological environment on the planet, and we believe that all these living organisms in the ocean produce compounds, chemicals that has a role in their life, but that potentially also can be used by mankind. We have isolated antibiotics. Unfortunately, when we got to the end point, these were known antibiotics, but interestingly enough, at least some of them have never been discovered in marine gamma proteobacteria before, but actually originate in terrestrial streptomycetes. The antibiotics we have been using since their discovery early in the 19th century are being less and less useful because bacteria or other microorganisms are developing resistance to the compounds. We are slowly losing the battle against simple infectious bacteria. The other challenge is that as we human beings grow older and older, we suffer more and more from chronic diseases, Alzheimer, cancer, and we need new compounds in order to combat these different diseases. We have been searching for compounds such as the antibiotics on Earth, on terrestrial ground for many years, have been successful. We have searched chemical libraries for these compounds and have been partly successful. What we're all hoping now is that the ocean, especially the marine environment, giving the vastness of biology that is out there, will represent a new source of such compounds. It's the new frontier in terms of pharmaceutical discovery. The expedition could sail around the world, isolate bacteria or other microorganisms, and we would search them for novel antibiotics, antivirulence compounds, immunomodulation, pigments, anything that was pulled on board the deck. We were the first to be allowed to access it, take samples and take them into a small container where we could do some very simple microbiology. We have chosen to work with microorganisms because if we can bring those into the laboratory, and if we can understand how to grow them and culture them, they are very easy to work with, at least in principle, and we hope we can get them to produce a range of compounds and chemicals that we would be interested in for exploitation, for use in a vast number of fields. And it turns out that the exopolysaccharides actually counteracts the induction of the immune system. So they modulate, they dampen the immune system. And from a disease perspective, you'd probably want your immune system to be well functioning, but it overreacts in a lot of cases in autoimmune diseases where compounds like this potentially could be very relevant from a clinical setting. This idea that the ocean harbors biology and chemistry that we can use technologically probably dates back 10, 20 years. Some of the people at this symposium were actually the founders of the field.
Hours, and whether you're really going to dedicate yourself to not only do your job.
The people gathered here share a fascination by the ocean, a wish to, let's call it, exploit biology, use biology, understand biology to a depth where we can actually use it for beneficial purposes. We have fish larvae that are infected with Vibrio, and this is the mortality curve, and they all die. However, if we, on top of the Vibrio, actually add this Roseobacter organism, we can completely remove mortality. A symposium like this is also meant as a catalyst, a fertilizer for future collaboration. We want to make other people in Denmark that may not have thought of this field thinking about this as somewhere where they could go and we could have collaboration with them. The field of marine microbial biotechnology will move forward driven by the technologies available, the techniques in genetics, in chemistry, in high-throughput screening. It will be driven by the fascination of the marine environment, and it will be driven by global needs for new antibiotics, new pharmaceutical compounds. I cannot see them come from very many places other than the ocean.